Hey gang, and I'm back like I never left. Okay, so in case you missed it, I'm currently in the middle of a 36-hour fast, and I actually decided today that I wanted to film along the way. I mean, why not, right? So I'm 15, don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm 15 and a half hours into my fast, and so far I'm feeling pretty good. Yesterday was shot day, and I don't know if that's going to be much help to me. I mean, I haven't necessarily found fasting to be easier since being on a GLP-1, but I guess we'll see. I'm expecting at least one hunger wave between 18 and 20 hours. That's typically about when I start to get hungry. Actually, some days I get hungry around 16 hours. But so far, I'm approaching 16 and I don't feel hungry at all. So we'll just see how I manage to get through that first hunger wave, if it even comes at all. But before we continue on with how the fast is going, I wanted to share this video that I was working on that I didn't finish regarding why just being on a GLP-1 alone might not be enough for some people. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to finish the video, so I'm just gonna insert it here really quickly and I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. So there's this debate going on in the GLP-1 community regarding diet. Does it matter? Does it not matter? Should you eat what you want and just let the GLP-1 do the work? Do calories count? Do they not count? I think that when we talk about diet and being on a GLP-1, oftentimes we cast too wide of a net, and it assumes that everyone is guaranteed the same result if they simply apply the same strategies. Well, me in particular, I'm one that has to do more than just take a GLP-1. And I've had the same experience at every dose. If I don't watch what I eat, I don't lose any weight. But what about other strategies like fasting and exercise? Is that all unnecessary too? All hail the mighty Zepbound. Please bring me good fortune and just don't make me have to put in any effort. Yeah, okay, if that's your reality, then lucky you. But let me provide a little bit of clarity on why just taking a GLP-1 may not be enough for some people. Let's just start with how we gain the weight in the first place. Some people gain their weight through eating, some people gain their weight through the medication that they were taking, some through pregnancy, or some even gain their weight through some sort of hormonal condition or disorder. This is the most obvious example of why a one-size-fits-all approach could come off a bit tone deaf. For example, if a person with a fairly balanced diet gained 30 pounds because of a medication that they were taking, let's say the medication increased their appetite like a steroid. In this particular case, what they're eating may not exactly be the problem, and being on a GLP-1 can help them control the amount that they are eating. This person may not necessarily need to work on their relationship with food, but let's say a person gains 30 pounds and they gained the 30 pounds by eating. Let's say that they're not able to control their sugar consumption or their fast food consumption. Being on a GLP-1 could be a great first step at helping them address some of those cravings. However, this person could still be suffering from making poor food choices that slows down their progress. They could still be dealing with what triggers them to seek those types of foods out in the first place. In this case, this person could benefit from combining a GLP-1 with some dietary changes that would ultimately evolve into their new lifestyle. See what I mean? I could go on and on with these examples. Recently, I've been discussing my decision to incorporate fasting into my weight loss strategy. If you haven't caught my live streams, now is a good time to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you'll be notified the next time that I go live. I'm sure plenty of people have wondered why some people would feel the need to fast while being on a GLP-1. Now, this topic could last hours, but I'm just going to sum it up by saying it depends on what the person's goals are. If your only objective is to see the number on the scale drop and body composition is not important to you, maybe you're just looking to be in a smaller body overall, then one of the biggest reasons to fast is already off of the table for you. But for someone like me that's interested in preserving lean muscle and losing body fat, a GLP-1 can't target that outcome, but fasting can. Everyone has heard about people losing tons of muscle on a GLP-1, and it's actually used to fearmonger people out of even trying them in the first place. Here's my 2 cents on that. GLP-1s help us eat less, right? That's a given. The thing about that is when you target weight loss from the perspective of just eating less, the body doesn't discriminate on where that weight comes from. Hence the people leaning into that lack of appetite that we get on a GLP-1, and they get to their goals quickly, but their body composition has suffered. Now, With fasting, the body does discriminate. And the reason that it's able to is because of different hormonal responses that are being triggered. When you fast, insulin, the fat storage hormone, falls, and glycogen stores, glycogen being the stored form of glucose, starts to fall. When you no longer have your readily available glucose or glycogen, your body knows what to do next. Find an alternative fuel source. That fuel source is body fat, and we got lots of it. But this process goes a step further. At a certain point, human growth hormone starts to spike in efforts to preserve your lean muscle mass. Why would our body start prioritizing fat as a fuel source and preserving lean muscle? Because our bodies are smarter than we are. The instruction manual for the human body is not written in a caloric breakdown, but it is written in hormonal responses. And at the end of the day, the number one priority is don't die. And our bodies know what to do to keep that from happening. So does this mean the calorie counters are wrong and we should ditch calories or tracking? Does this mean that the GOE crew, GLP-1s over everything, people are wrong and that we should force them or encourage them to change their diets or exercise? No, not necessarily. It really just means that everybody should be comfortable doing what works for them and stop focusing on a blanketed approach. Remember, it really just depends on what your goals are. I happen to believe that I need multiple strategies to get to where I'm going. GLP-1 for food noise suppression, low carb, high fat for appetite control, of course, weight training to build muscle, and fasting to target fat burning while preserving the lean muscle that I'm working so hard to build. But I don't know, who am I? Let me know what your take is. Is diet and exercise a thing of the past? Does it make you cringe and think diet culture? Is fasting unnecessary? Do people just need GLP-1s? Live your best GLP-1 life and be happy? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Okay, so hopefully that provided a little bit of clarity on why someone may choose to fast while being on a GLP-1. Now, I've been fighting for my life all morning, and I don't mean because of the fast. I have not done yoga or properly stretched in a little over a week. So I was in my bed this morning, twisting and turning, trying to hit every possible angle that I could as far as mobility and stretching. And I'm not gonna lie, the fact that I've been celebrating crossing my legs, but I can only cross right over left and not left over right, kind of got under my skin a little bit when we were talking about that during the live stream. I really need to get into my hip mobility some more so that I can be vain and cross my legs both ways. But yeah, I woke up and was putting some work into my hips, and I was conflicted on whether or not I should go to the gym to do some hot yoga. I did not want to risk making myself hungry and making my fast more difficult. But man, I just couldn't take it. I'm desperate. I need my hot yoga. I need to stretch and be all bendy and get my muscles warmed up. So anyway, instead of just trying to do the hip mobility from my bed, I decided I am going to go and do the hot yoga. So I'm at the gym now. I just wanted to film this before I headed inside. Fingers crossed that it does not end up making my fast 10 times harder. We'll see. Okay, I'm done with my yoga session and I feel fantastic. I did not end up having to take my electrolyte salts. I'm feeling really good right now. As I was working through my workout, I'm like, oh yeah, this was definitely what I needed. I needed to get that stretch in. I needed to get the heat in my muscles and get them warmed up. So I'm feeling really, really good. I am sleepy now, but I'm not hungry. I could use a branched chain amino powder in my water, but that will mess up my whole fasting situation. So I'm gonna stick to plain water, and yeah, that's it. I'm feeling pretty good. So I will be back with a 24-hour update, and we'll see how I'm doing. Am I hanging in there, or am I pretty much feeling like crap and ready to quit? So I will be back at the 24-hour mark. Okay, change of plans. I actually ended up doing a live stream instead of pre-recording my 24-hour update. So if you'd like to get caught up on that, definitely check out my last live stream. Now, as of right now, I am done with my 36-hour fast. I am not even gonna bury the lead. I successfully finished all 36 hours. I just want to go over some of the symptoms that I went through, what I think of the fast, and I also have to reveal my weigh-in. So let's just start out with where I left off from the 24 hours. By the time I got to 24 hours, I actually wasn't hungry. I spent most of my day not being hungry. I just got irritable and I was just kind of, moody after about 20 hours of fasting. But from that point on, it wasn't hunger. Hunger wasn't my issue for most of the night. It was mostly just like not really being in the mood. Like fasting is annoying. It's incredibly productive, but it is highly annoying. So I tried to sleep at around 10 p.m. I guess, couldn't sleep, was tossing and turning, then finally got to bed. And of course, it would have been easy to just sleep through the night and wake up at 8 a.m. and eat, right? Wrong. I ended up waking up at 4:30 in the morning and couldn't get back to sleep. So I had to find a way to distract myself, and I ended up just watching some TV to do that. But ultimately, I did make it to 8 a.m., so I completed the whole 36 hours. What were my side effects like? I actually didn't have any other than the irritation, like other than just kind of being in a bad mood, like hangry, not hangry, no. It was more like cranky. I was cranky. I didn't experience any physical hunger. I did have some psychological cravings. I talked about in my live stream how I was staring at this jar of peanut butter for most of the night, like just waiting to dig into it. And then when I woke up in the morning, I honestly didn't even want the peanut butter. So symptoms, I really didn't have much of any. No dizziness, no lightheadedness. I did have a little bit of a headache, but I think that was more so from oversleeping than it was from the actual fast. And also, I guess I should count the bit of fatigue I had. I did feel low energy after I reached about 18 hours all the way to the 36. My energy was pretty low. But other than that, I felt pretty good considering it was my first 36 hour fast in several years. Now, how did I break my fast? I decided to have a branched chain amino powder in my water with some element salts because more than food, what I wanted was some goddamn electrolytes. When I tell y'all, all day yesterday, I was like, if I could just have some electrolytes, if I could just have some. And typically, I do a water-only fast because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I probably could have had the electrolytes sooner, but I didn't want to risk disrupting my fast. So I opted out from any salts or anything like that. Even the element salts, sea salt, whatever you want. No, I didn't have anything. So the first thing I wanted was a spiked water, and that's exactly what I had. I spiked my water with some branched chain amino powder that already has electrolytes in it, and I doubled up by adding some electrolyte salts in it. I also decided to take my L-carnitine because I was on an empty stomach, and that's typically how I would take it. And I'm still waiting to have my magnesium supplement for the day. The next thing that I had was a plant-based protein shake. Now, this was not a brand that I had tried before, but I wanted to see if it was going to be good, and it was in the flavor iced coffee. So I had about a 6-ounce protein shake with some almond milk, and it was okay. I'm going to leave the name of it in the description. Not sponsored or anything, just in case somebody's interested in a plant-based protein shake. But it was okay. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, and it wasn't the most delicious thing in the world. It was okay for a caffeinated iced coffee-esque protein shake. It was about a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5. I can get used to it. Okay, I've had some really horrendous experiences with plant-based protein shakes. So this one was work-wittable. Now, my favorite part. I decided to step on the scale because it's Monday, and the last time I stepped on the scale was Friday. So I stepped on the scale last Monday and also Friday. Last Monday, I weighed in at 183.5 pounds, I believe. And then on Friday, I weighed in at 181.6. So I had lost 2 pounds within the first 5 days of the week. You want to guess what I weighed in today at after a 36-hour fast? Come on, you can do it, you can guess. Okay, let me stop. I weighed in at 180 pounds even. 180.0, which is a 1.5 pound loss in 2 days, maybe 3, between Friday evening and Monday. And I'm really happy about that. That puts me at about 3.5 pounds down for the week. So for the uninitiated, I am aiming for an aggressive push this month since I still have about another 40 to 50 pounds to lose. So 3.5 pounds in 1 week is not sustainable over the long run, but I'm looking for that type of progress for at least the month of October. So I'm really glad that I'm off to a great start. I was so close to making it to 179 pounds. Now, I sound ungrateful a little bit, but when I stepped on that scale and it said 180 even, I was kind of like, really? Like, I was excited, but I was like, it couldn't just be 179.9 so I can brag about it a little bit, so I can finally be out of the 180s. It's okay though. I also forgot to mention that when I got past 182 pounds, I officially passed the 60-pound weight loss mark. I have been stuck at about 54, 56 pounds down for the past 2 or 3 months. And now I'm finally officially 62 pounds down. Can we just all be a little vain and celebrate that a little bit? I'm super excited about that. I have another 40-ish to go. My goal is starting to change a little bit. Like now that I've gotten within the 40-pound range, I'm like, maybe I want to lose 50. But we'll see. The jury is still out. I just know that as I approach getting the next 40 off, I'm already starting to think about maintenance. I'm already starting to think about muscle composition or body composition and muscle gain, weight training, all of that. And I'm considering whether or not I'm going to continue to lose weight based on how I feel when I get to my goal. And I can almost guarantee that it's going to be a yes, but we will see. So that's pretty much it. That's how my 36-hour fast went. I don't think I'm going to do it every week like I planned because it doesn't seem necessary. Now that I've done it, I don't feel the need to do it every week. So maybe I'll aim for once a month, but it would be nice to hit a 24-hour fast once a week. We'll see how that works out. But my aggressive tush push is in full effect. I'm 3.5 pounds down. I have another 11 pounds to lose this month before I get to what? The overweight BMI range. 169 pounds and I will be overweight and no longer obese. I am sick of this shit. I'm too vain to be obese. I don't want to be obese no more, and I'm never going back. You hear me, people? I'm never going back. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe and set your notifications, because why are you missing my live streams? Like, what are you doing with your life? Nothing. So go ahead and set your notifications so you know the next time I go live. Make sure to check out the video that YouTube is recommending next. It's probably the very last live stream that I did. Although they are long, you can watch them kind of in bits or as you're running errands or working out or whatever you like. And I'm pretty sure it has some good information for those that are interested in fasting. And if you're not, listen to it anyway because you love me. All right. So again, like, subscribe, share, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.